Hi there guys and gals, welcome back to the channel. On today's video I'm going to be spending a bit of time on my mk1 Cavalier again. So if you've seen previous videos you'll know that I've been trying to get to the bottom of the running issues. I did get it running really nice, and if you look back on the channel you'll see the videos when I was driving the car, took it up the motorway, went to work in it a couple of days, got it running absolutely amazingly well. But sadly, it started playing up again, and now it's at a stage where it just won't start at all. If you've seen previous video where I did the walk around of it, you'll see that there's a few wires on the engine wiring loom which are a bit broken, let's say the least. So basically, you can see where wires have rubbed against each other, the casings have split and broken, and there's been wires shorting out against each other. So all these things are obviously not helping it run right, and at the moment it won't even start at all. The car is overfueling, the spark plugs are black. I've done a compression test. The compression test came back near enough perfect. All four cylinders are producing virtually the same pressure, within, well within tolerance. I didn't do a video on that just because on that particular day I just wanted to do it quite quickly, and I didn't do a video on it. But I will post some pictures into this video round about now showing the 4 different cylinders, and you can see the pressure that each one of the 4 was showing. So I'll put that in this video as I'm saying this, so you can see what pressures the car was running. So I know that it's not a head gasket issue, but it's just running really rough. So today's mission is I'm actually going to remove the wiring loom completely from the engine. I'm going to inspect it, and I'm going to find all the breaks, and I'm going to make a start on repairing it. Now I could just try and source a good second-hand loom. The problem is with a second-hand loom, it might end up being just as bad as the one that's on the car already. And it's quite easy to repair a loom. I've got a soldering iron, I've got plenty of spare wires, I can make up some repair sections, and I can get it just as good, if not better, than the original loom. So there's some bits where the wires are stretched because I think the original wires don't seem to have been long enough, and for some reason Vauxhall, General Motors, Opel, whoever it was, who was responsible for making the wiring loom, a couple of the sections, the wires don't seem to be long enough. So that's why they're bent and twisted really quite sharply. And that's obviously contributed to them splitting, which is just bad design. So a couple of bits of the loom, I'm going to make them longer on purpose to give them a bit more flexibility so they can bend better. Again, if I bought a replacement loom would be the same as the one that's on it. So the chances are the wires are going to be stretched, they're going to be under tension, and they're going to suffer in the same way as the one that's on the car now. Hence why I'm just figuring it's going to be better to have a go at repairing the loom that's on it. Once I repair the loom, if the car's still running like crap, then I know to look at something else. But at the very minimum, the existing loom does need repairing anyway. So let's go out to the car, let's have a look at this loom, and then we'll get it off and we'll see what it's like once I've got it off the car. Let's go and see it. Right then guys, here we are again under the bonnet. So I'll just show you around the bits of the loom which are broken that I know of. So one of them here is the plug to the engine temperature sensor, and as you can see the wires are twisted round really sharp. That one has completely snapped. I just kind of like twisted it back together the other day just to try and get it started. You see the problem, it's stretched over the engine. It rubs on the engine itself, so you can see the plastic outer shield is split, so there might be other splits inside. I won't know until I investigate. You've again got this bit here which goes to the is it the MAF or is it just a normal airflow meter? I'm not sure on this engine, probably a MAF in it. You can see there I just put some tape in just to try and separate the wires, but you can see it's all bent, it's all split, all the wires inside are gone. And then over at the back of the engine, this is a later disc pack, so it's got a distributor pack rather than a normal distributor. And the wires that go there, look how sharply bent and twisted they are. And all 3 of them have worn through. I did wrap electrical tape around them a while ago just to try and separate them out and see if it would stop them rubbing against each other. But you can see that's one bit where I want to make the wires longer, so that they can go out and have a more gentle curve, and then hopefully they'll not split again. And that's the ones that I know about. Now obviously there could be a lot more broken wires within the loom that I don't know about, so we shall see. As you can see, I've pulled the cover back on the connection to the throttle body just to see if them wires were broken, and I can't see if any are broken, but it looks like the little green and brown one might be. So we'll get it off the car and then we'll investigate properly. Right guys, I'm part way through, so got the main bit of the loom starting to come free. Disconnected all these various wires, connect sensors, couple of earths disconnected. I had to disconnect these pipes, these breather pipes on the top of the engine as well to give way, but I mean there's so many plugs. I didn't even realise how many plugs there were myself, so I'm checking the wires as we go, but I'm going to get it off the car and get it in the house. But this is one of the other reasons why I'm doing this, because there's this great spaghetti junction of wires which just all needs tidying up, and there's quite a lot of wires within the loom, including these ones, which are not actually necessary for this particular car. These are bits which are left over from the old wiring loom on the car that obviously it came off. The other issue I've got is that, as you can see, the ECU is just in this box in the engine bay, which is far from ideal. So I had thought about looking, I don't know how feasible it is because there is a lot of wires, a hell of a lot of wires, to maybe extend the loom, extend every one of them. Yes, that would be a big job, but extend them all so that the ECU could go in the car itself. But we'll see. It could definitely do with finding a better solution to the ECU just being sat in this box, because it's not exactly ideal it being sat there like that. I mean, one of the reasons the engine might be running like crap is that water might have got into the ECU, as far as I know. But I definitely need to get all these connections repaired. This is the one that goes into the Dizzy, which I showed you earlier, but now it's disconnected. I can show you how all them 3 wires were all worn through, and I just wrapped a load of electrical tape around just to separate them. But yeah, there's just so many plugs, so many different sensors. You know, there's that one there, it's that one, and oh, just so many. These modern engines. I mean, this isn't even a particularly modern engine, it's still 30 odd year old. You know, the red top. I mean, yeah, that's the one that was the airflow meter. You can see it again here. Look how badly worn through them wires are, and they've obviously been contacting each other. That's why I just stuck a bit of sellotape in the other day just to try and separate the wires. But you can see how they've worn through. So I'm going to repair all them. That's the one again that goes to the engine coolant temperature sensor. You can see the one that's just totally snapped when my camera focuses correctly. There's also that which is to do with the ignition. That needs properly attaching onto the bulkhead somewhere to give it a nice solid connection. So yeah, there's if anything, it's probably amazing that we're running right at all, even for them couple of days. But the weather's starting to turn. It was lovely and bright and sunny when I started earlier, but it's starting to turn and starting to cloud over a bit, so I'm going to crack on, try and get it off, and then I can work in the house with it all off the car. So that's what I'm trying to do, try and get it off the car in the house, and then I can do it inside, because then if it does rain, it don't matter, does it? So see you again shortly. Hello guys, right, you join me underneath the car now, because one of the wires I can't get to is the one for the lambda sensor. Yes, because this is a late spec Calibra 16 valve, it does actually have a lambda sensor. So here is a lambda sensor in the exhaust, and look what I found, more dodgy wiring. My god, look at the state of that. And one of them, when I was just trying to just wiggle it around a little bit, just instantly came undone. It's been rubbing against the exhaust, so it's hot and melted, and I'm wondering how on earth this car even ran at all in the first place, never mind, you know, why it's not starting now. So the cables to the lambda sensor are broken as well. So I've just tried unscrewing the lambda sensor, but absolutely no joy at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to disconnect those bad connections, just so I can get the loom off the car, and then when I come to put it all back together, I'll put in some kind of proper connection, and I'll properly mount the cable up out of the way, away from the exhaust, because obviously where it is now, it's not exactly ideal, is it? I mean, you can see it's actually sat on the exhaust. It's actually physically sat on the exhaust. While I'm under here, just wanted to show just how solid the underneath of this car is. I mean, it's been, you know, absolutely caked in under seal, wax oil, whatever it is, that's really protected the underside. It has got some bits of rust, like I noticed when I was jacking it up. There's a little bit of crustiness in the edge of the floor just here, which I'll have to attend to. I might need to weld that at some point soon. But for now, I'm just concentrating on getting it running. But as you can see, I mean, the chassis rails and everything are absolutely solid as a rock. It's a bit difficult to spin the camera around. I'll try. Hello, I'm there. I'm laid on my back upside down, so I'll try to do this the best I can. But yeah, you can see just how solid all the chassis is. It's all been well protected. A little bit of surface rust starting to come at the end of the sill there. You can see there's a little bit of sign of filler there as well, where I think it had the back arches possibly done. It's had a bit of filler work. Might have had a patch welded on and then a bit of filler to finish it off. You can see the stainless exhaust. It has only got the one silencer. Silencer being quite a funny choice of words, as how it's not silent in any way, shape or form. See one of the plugs in the floor there that's missing, and it's just got a bit of see-through tape over it. But yeah, it's really nice and solid under here, as I'm sure you can see. So anyway, I'm going to get this lambda sensor disconnected, and we'll continue removing the loom off the car, and I'll still see you again shortly. Right then guys, so here we have it. The engine wiring loom is off the car and sat on my patio, so let's go through what we've got. Well, let's start off where I left off with the lambda sensor cable. So this is the cable which was going to the lambda kit, the lambda sensor. So I've basically, that's the one that had disconnected itself. Them two I've snipped so that I know when I reconnect which colour goes to which, so I'll make sure I get them right. But having done that, I think I'm going to replace this whole section of wire, because there's a dodgy junction there. So the wire comes from this plug, and this plug, you see the wires are two white and then a black, and that's the colour of the wires on the lambda sensor in the engine, in the exhaust. But because that original wire obviously wasn't long enough, they've extended it with this extra bit of wire with different colours. So we've ended up with a green and yellow, a blue and a brown. But this bit of wire is the bit that's been rubbing on the exhaust, and as you can see, where it's been rubbing on the exhaust, it has melted the outer casing in a few places, which then makes me a little bit worried about what it might be like inside. See there, look, melted. So I think ultimately what I'm going to end up doing is replacing this whole section of wire and just making sure that I match up the wires. So obviously the cable that I know goes to the brown and the green and the yellow and the blue matches, so that I make sure that I get it wired up right. So that's the first thing that I know is wrong, the lambda sensor. That's not going to help with how rough the engine was running. Where's the next bad one? So the next bad one is the one that we've already seen before, which was the airflow meter one. So that's that section there where all four wires have started to split, and as you can see there's bare copper, quite visible, and there's even a little sign, I don't know if you'll see on the camera, but there is a sign of a little bit of burning. You can probably see it there on the brown wire, a little bit of burning where I think the wires have been shorting out, they've been rubbing against each other and shorting. That's the little meter that goes inside the air inlet. I don't know, what is it? Is it an air inlet temperature sensor? I'm not even sure. I've still got the sensor attached because it came straight out. That's the one that goes to the throttle body, I think. Yeah, I think it is. Them wires look alright inside there, but I'll inspect it fully. This is the one that goes to the engine temperature sensor, which as you can see has completely snapped on one of them. That's the engine temperature sensor. That's the actual engine coolant temperature sensor, I should say, get the wording right. As you can see, that's in a bit of a sorry state, if I can get it to focus. What else have we got that I know's dodgy? Oh yeah, the one that goes to the back of the disc pack. That's the one where all 3 wires had all broken through, and I just wrapped electrical tape around just to try and separate them, stop them rubbing against each other. This is the pack that connects to the injectors. So that's your 4 injector connections. There should be a cover across the top of this. I took the cover off just so I could check the wires inside. That's a couple of earths which I previously repaired these because the original earths were knackered, so not in the best looking condition, but they are actually good, decent earths. There's another earth there that's got electrical tape wrapped around it for some reason, so I'll investigate that. This plug, I can't even remember where this plug came from, but the wires, not so sure. What else we got? That plug looks alright. Yeah. But then we've got the actual ECU itself. So this is that. And this is where we've got, that's a little green wire that feeds to the rev counter. There's a red wire there, which is just like the overall power input to the loom. But then there's loads of random wires which I have no idea what they're for. Like that one, no idea. Never been connected to anything. That's never been connected. That plug and that plug have never been connected to anything, so they're obviously something that I don't need. There's something obviously off the original Calibre or whatever this loom came off. So I'm going to try and get rid of any unnecessary cables that I don't need and just generally tidy up and repair the loom. So there we go, guys. So thanks for watching. When I can get my tongue back in my mouth properly. Thanks a lot for watching, when I can say it correctly. Stay tuned and yeah, watch for when I make a start and actually doing these repairs. And yeah, stick around. Please like, browse, subscribe. Please do share my videos as well. You know, if you've got any friends who are into old classic Vauxhall restorations and modern day Vauxhalls and retro Vauxhalls, whatever, please do share my videos. They might find them interesting. Hopefully they do, and hopefully people can also comment and give me any ideas. I mean, one of my friends did say just source a whole new loom, but like I've said earlier, the problem is I could get a new loom. There's no guarantees that a replacement loom would be any better than the one that I've got anyway, so I may as well just stick with the one that I've got and just repair the bits that need repairing, so, and get rid of the excess wiring like that, which I definitely don't need. So alright then, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I shall see you next time.